Well, it's a very warm welcome back to a second half independent off-tube studio commentary. It's the game at Elland Road about to get underway for the second half. It's Leeds United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Wolves taking an early lead after a goal from Daniel Podence. That was on 6 minutes after a ball whipped in from the left-hand side, headed down by Rayan Ait-Nouri and Podence with the finish. Leeds got their equaliser on 24 minutes through Rodrigo after Harrison found him after Wolves made a bit of a mess of clearing their lines inside their own penalty area. And even before that equaliser, and certainly after it, Leeds would have felt as though they were the side certainly in the ascendancy. Wolves had that one decent chance with Rayan Ait-Nouri flicking it up and then volleying it straight at goalkeeper Meslier, but a couple of half chances for Leeds, including a great ball from Harrison from the left, just missing Rodrigo and Bamford, and also Jose Sarr making a bit of a mess of controlling the ball inside his own 6-yard box, almost presented it to Patrick Bamford. But we are underway now for the second half, and it doesn't look like there have been any changes for the 2-11s. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Josh Hall taking you through the action. And Josh, a first half that I think Leeds would have felt as though they should have been in front really by half-time.
Yes, certainly. They had plenty of opportunities. Obviously, a penalty shout as well when Jose Sarr went clattering into Rasmus Christensen, and they'll probably feel like they could have got more from that first half. And I think actually that initial Wolves goal sort of was real signs of start of the season stuff from Leeds. They just weren't awake, they weren't ready for it, and it took that goal for them to wake up and become the dominant side. But it's going to be an interesting second half. I'm sure Bruno Lage said a lot to his squad at half-time about trying to get themselves back in this game and have a foot in it rather than just allowing Leeds to dictate it, because if Leeds do control this game, they probably will win. I think so. I think that based on that first half, they would feel confident they would have enough to try and just basically steamroller over Wolves and just create the chances. But here come the visitors now down the right-hand side with Rayan Ait-Nouri running straight into the corner, winning a throw for his side. As I say, there weren't any changes. I'll just remind you of the 2-11s in a moment. We'll just see out this bit of Wolves attacking possession. Chan just limping slightly after that collision there with Pascal Struijk. But it's going to be a throw to Wolves down the right, and Johnny Castro is across to take this one. Gets it in towards Pedro Neto's trying to play a quick 1-2 there with Gibbs White, then a ball whipped in towards the back post. Christensen plays it across his own 6-yard box, and then it takes a bit of a diving clearance there from Diego Llorente to put it out for another throw. Christensen with a bit of a wry smile on his face there, but it wasn't the most confident clearance there really. Castro with the throw in towards Podence, trying to turn, but he runs straight into Robin Koch, who's then able to clear his lines. That one only reaches the halfway line before Wolves are back in possession. So it is Illan Meslier in goal for Leeds. Back for Rasmus Christensen, Diego Llorente, Robin Koch and Pascal Struijk. The two holding midfielders are Mark Rocker and Tyler Adams. The three ahead of them are Brendan Aronson, Rodrigo and Jack Harrison, with captain Patrick Bamford up front. As for Wolves, it is Jose Sarr in goal, four in defence of Johnny Castro and Nathan Collins, Max Kilman and Rayan Ait-Nouri. The two holding midfielders, Leander Dendoncker and captain Ruben Neves, with Daniel Podence, Morgan Gibbs-White and Pedro Neto as a three ahead of them, and Rayan Ait-Nouri is the front man for Wolves. It's with Ruben Neves now, trying to ping a ball over the top, and it's a great ball as well to pick out Daniel Podence. He puts an early cross in, and there's an attempted dive there as well to try and go for the ball. Wolves are appealing for a penalty. Referee Rob Jones, certainly live, isn't interested. We'll see if there's any thing for VAR to have a look at. It's back with Ruben Neves now. He's 30 yards out. He hits one. And did it take a deflection? I think he might have just made a bit of an awkward contact with it, but in the end it's away for a goal kick, and we'll see potentially if there's any argument here for a penalty. Yeah, he goes down. He looks like he's really trying to stretch out to go for a header, and I think he just loses his balance. Rasmus Christensen is in behind him, but I don't think there's enough of a shove or enough of any sort of contact for it. I think he's looking for it more than anything, Pedro Neto.
I think he's probably already going over, and so that contact from Christensen is almost irrelevant, really. I think in any case, Pedro Neto was going to hit the deck there, but Leeds now pressing as Wolves, trying to hold the ball up at the edge of their own box, and you've got to say that's very confident from Max Kilman there, being closed down by Bamford, still able to get the ball away down the right-hand side. Played back into the Wolves penalty area. On this occasion, it's Dendoncker that just calms things down, and now Wolves are able to push on down the left-hand side. Here is Pedro Neto. Two Leeds players coming towards him, and it's Tyler Adams that deflects the ball away for a throw. Just to remind you, in the other games, it's still Bournemouth 1, Aston Villa 0. Still goalless between Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. And Spurs lead 2-1 against Southampton in the early game today. Fulham drawing 2-2 with Liverpool. And we've still got Everton against Chelsea at 5:30 this evening to come in terms of the Premier League. More games tomorrow, of course, in the Premier League. 3 games, 2 at 2 o'clock. Leicester against Brentford and Manchester United against Brighton. They're 2 p.m. kickoffs, and then a 4:30 kickoff is West Ham against Manchester City, as the ball now back with Jose Sarr. Just rolls it towards Kilman. And this might be quite planned from Wolves. They're not sort of trying to get forward too quickly. Even though they were caught in possession a few times in the first half, they're still quite happy to just slow things down in their own half.
They are. They're holding the ball close and playing it slowly around that back four. But the only issue is it invites Leeds United pressure, which it just did then as they won it back. But Wolves in turn win the ball back themselves.
Yeah, Rocker, they're putting pressure and almost winning the ball a second time there, Mark Rocker, but it is quickly played out towards the left now and a chance for Wolves, and specifically it's Pedro Neto, and he's got Ait-Nouri on the overlap. That's a shocking ball from Pedro Neto, and he quite rightly has his head in his hands there. He's smacking himself in the head now as well as the Portuguese, because that's a really bad ball. He's only got to flick that a couple of yards in front of himself, and Ait-Nouri runs onto it, and he put about 10 yards on that. It's a really bad ball.
Yeah, you got to think that maybe it's because it's on his weaker foot, so he feels like maybe he has to put a bit more on it, but he has just played it straight out of play.
Well, Wolves now win it back in midfield, and here is a chance now for Hwan Hee-chan. The angle was too wide for a shot. He tries to cut it back across the 6-yard box. It's cleared away, but only as far as Gibbs White down the right-hand side. He finds Chan again. Chan puts a ball in, which is deflected away. In the meantime, flag has gone up. I think that Chan, when he got to that ball on the right hand side, I think it might have just been out of play before he cut it back. So it will be a goal kick to Leeds United now. Taken short by Meslier, and then Llorente in towards Mark Rocker. Leeds now trying to play out from the back themselves. They're not looking for a long ball over the top, I suppose, with Collins and Kilman as the 2 centre backs for Wolves. I can't see Bamford winning too many headers over the top, as here come Leeds now down the left, just held up there by Struick, going back in towards the right-hand side. Christensen with an early ball across, just a little bit too quick for Bamford. Should still be kept in play here down the left-hand side. It is kept in play by Harrison. A ball coming in. Bamford trying a very acrobatic effort there, and the free kick is given against the Leeds captain. Would have been seen, I think, as a careless play there. I think he's tried a sort of overhead kick, and he might have just caught his man as he does so.
Yeah, I didn't see him catch anyone. He's obviously tried that acrobatic overhead kick, goes over to do it. There's a very, very light touch on the head of Max Kilman. You can see why the referee's given it, but it's one of those ones where there's absolutely no intention. It's maybe the right decision to give the free kick, but no card.
Oh no, there's absolutely. I wouldn't say it was dangerous play from Bamford, but it's one of those where if you're going to try something acrobatic like that, you can't really make any contact with an opposition player. Certainly not by catching him on the side of the forehead there. As Wolves take the free kick short, and there's space here down the left here for Ait-Nouri. The ball to Pedro Neto is under hit though, and Christensen there able to clear it out for a throw to Wolves down the left-hand side. So potentially, just looking at that Leeds bench as well, a lot of young players in that team, plus a couple of players still missing for Leeds with injury. Their injured list includes quite a few players that will be pushing for a first-team place. Stuart Dallas, Luke Ayling, Adam Forshaw, who seems to be permanently injured, as well as Liam Cooper and Junior Firpo. So I suppose once all those players are fighting fit, it's a much more complete squad for Jesse March. We'll come back to that in a second, because as the ball goes over the top, Christensen really straining at that one, but he just about stopped it from reaching Chan. Wolves have it back in midfield now here with Ruben Neves, run straight into Pascal Struick, and that actually comes off Neves last. It's a throw to Leeds.
Yeah, it was a dangerous ball over the top, but just the toe to the ball from Christensen to just manage to get it away. I was almost going to say fingertip stuff, but it's almost toe tip stuff to just manage to get his toe on the end of it and hook it away. But those long balls over the top are going to put Leeds in a bit of trouble, because there's so much pace in behind for Wolves. You know, Podence, Chan, Neto, all three of them have got a lot of pace, and if they keep looking for that ball, it will come from a Wolves point of view. And Leeds just not quite had the same intent they had in the first half.
No, there's not quite the spring in the step of Leeds as we saw in the first half. That could just be down to Wolves perhaps just showing a little bit more mettle in these first 9 minutes, but Leeds take the throw. It's with Struijk now. That's not a good ball. He just hoofs along with ball, left-footed over towards the right-hand side. Nobody in a white shirt there. And Wolves now in possession with Leander Den Donker. He goes back towards Kilman. We had a bit of a break in play there as well, as Nathan Collins seems to have a bit of a problem with his left boot, but he's okay now. But Johnny Castro gives that one straight away to Jack Harrison. And Collins is there to mop up, help out his teammates. A loose ball in midfield now, which Tyler Adams plays forward. Is there going to be a free kick there for Leeds? The referee, well, he stood close there. Rob Jones decided there was no foul on Rodrigo. And Wolves now here with Daniel Podence. Leaves it for Ruben Neves. And space here now for Pedro Neto and Ait-Nouri down the left-hand side. It's Pedro Neto getting towards the edge of the area. He's got 2 Leeds players with him, but he dances away from both of them. Strikes towards goal. It's charged down. Loose ball at the edge of the area. Podence with the strike. That's also charged down. Good defensive work there from the outfield Leeds players there, stopping anything going through towards their goalkeeper. But a lovely bit of skill there from Pedro Neto.
I took my breath away that from Pedro Neto. A lovely little roulette spin to beat the Leeds defenders, and he was weaving in and out of the players and managed to get his shot away, but there was just too many white shirts in between him and the goal for it to really threaten Ilyan Meslier. But lovely piece of skill, and it just shows that even when they're not having their best game, they've got the talent in their squad, Wolves.
They do, and they're forward again here now. It's Ait-Nouri's ball in, and it takes a bit of an awkward header from Diego Llorente to put that out for a corner kick. You can see that Llorente is almost a little bit bemused by that. I think he was just quite happy to get his head on it. It was almost like that ball surprised him. He still looks a little bit groggy here, does Diego Llorente, but Christensen just showed a little bit too much there to Pedro Neto. And across came Tyler Adams, and he just turned in between the two of them. And that's going to be on a few highlight reels this weekend, I can assure you. Great play there from Pedro Neto. But Wolves now with this corner kick. Neto's come short, but it looks like it's going to be an outswinger here from Ruben Neves. Aimed at the back post, headed, and it's tipped over the bar. That's a great save there from Meslier. And it was Leander Den Donker. He's one of the bigger Wolves players, and he's good in the air.
Yeah, very good in the air, and he makes a great connection with that. When it comes up his head, you do think that's going in because it's on target. There's a lot of power on it. Yes, it's central, but there's so much power, and it is a fantastic save from Ilyan Meslier to get a hand on it and tip it over for another corner. Yeah,
it's going to be from the left-hand side this time. And it's going to be a left-footed outswinger from Ait-Nouri. Good header away at the near post there. I think it was Adams that jumped to that one, but Wolves win it back, and they've got a chance to get the ball back into the box. It's a strike coming in. It's aimed at the near post, and it's a comfortable save in the end there from Meslier. It was Gibbs White with the effort, but again, Meslier just rushed his throw out, and now Wolves have won themselves a free kick as Leeds tried to desperately win the ball back. Bamford there with a look of disappointment towards his opposition player for going down too easily. I think Bamford's probably one of the last players in the league who could look disappointed at someone for going down too easily. But in fairness, he does have an arm across Podence, and as I say, not to labour the point, but if someone did that to Bamford, he'd go down as well.
No, it's certainly a free kick, but it's a foul that Bamford had to make, really. I think Wolves are just coming at Leeds again and again now. It's a wave of golden shirts that are just trying to pin Leeds United in, and they're doing a really good job at it. So he had to make that foul. He had to stop that attack and just give the Leeds players a bit of a breath and a break. And well, I'm not sure he meant to do it for this long in terms of actually putting his arm across the face of Podence and leaving him on the floor for 2 minutes. But
yeah, it's taken a little while for Podence to pick himself up, but we can now see this free kick for Wolves. 58 minutes gone. It's still 1-1. I can tell you that there has been a goal at St James's Park. Newcastle now lead against newly promoted Nottingham Forest. Just waiting for confirmation of the goal scorer. But the free kick's taken short, and there's an overlap here as the ball is put in towards the penalty area. It's flicked up in the air by Bamford. Doesn't get much distance on it. Llorente then with a header, and finally played away by Harrison towards the halfway line. But now we're getting a bit of a spell here where Leeds are just struggling to get out of their own half.
Yeah, they are. You know, Wolves are putting plenty of pressure on them. They're the ones having the efforts on goal. They've managed to get a few different shots away and test the back four and Ilyan Meslier, and Wolves just and Leeds just don't manage to have that composure when they're playing out, and it's what we saw from Wolves in the first half. It's almost as if roles have just reversed. Yeah,
absolutely. It seems to be a very similar situation. Just to confirm that it was Fabian Schär that it's put Newcastle one up against Nottingham Forest. as Wolves now in possession at the edge of their own box here with Nathan Collins. Plays it short towards Ruben Neves. 3 Leeds players pressing already. They're not going to give Wolves any easy time in their own half. And Kilman now over towards Ait-Nouri. Thought about playing it early towards Pedro Neto. He decides to play a quick 1-2 with Ruben Neves. Now the ball is played down the left-hand side. One for Pedro Neto to chase. Puts it onto his left foot. Puts a cross in. Good header away by Diego Llorente. Ball drops to Podence. He leaves it for Ruben Neves, who switches play over towards the right-hand side. And the 2 Wolves players getting each other's way there. I think it was Johnny Castro's ball to control. But it looks like Gibbs White might have got in his way. But Wolves, again, are able to win the ball back. Leeds just struggling to get over the halfway line now. And here is Gibbs White. Gets towards the edge of the area. Plays it back towards Podence. Podence being blocked there by Tyler Adams. So there's an overlap here now for... Oh, it was a one for... Gibbs White to chase, but there is Struik with the challenge, and it's out for a corner.
Yeah, it's an important challenge, because you think if he does manage to get to that Gibbs White, he's got plenty of space to run into and really could have got a ball into someone in the middle, and he does really well, Struik, but they're just under the cosh now, Leeds United, and Wolves are going to keep coming, and as we said about the height they've got, this corner's another opportunity for them.
It is a great opportunity. It's going to be an outswinger from Gibbs White this time. Got players to aim for inside the penalty area. Gibbs White aims at the edge of the 6-yard box, around about the near post. It's headed away. It's a bouncing ball at the edge of the box, and there's going to be a free kick. There would have been a free kick there to Leeds. The referee played advantage, and a couple of seconds later, Johnny Castro bumps into Rodrigo, so the referee couldn't really give the advantage for the first one. Because there was a foul almost immediately. But by the way, there's another goal to tell you about. Spurs are 3-1 up against Southampton now. Mohamed Salisu with an own goal there, putting Spurs 3-1 up. We're getting word that there might be a 4th goal in the offing for Spurs there as well. So potentially a comfortable afternoon after a bit of a shaky start for Antonio Conte's Tottenham. But free kick now to Leeds United. And confirmation that it is a 4th goal for Spurs. So we'll just let you know of the goal scorer very soon. No change still to the vitality. Bournemouth still leading against Villa by a 0-0. And as mentioned just a few minutes ago, Newcastle taking the lead against Nottingham Forest. And yes, Jesse Lingard is in the starting 11 for Nottingham Forest. I did check that. I think there's going to be a lot of focus on him, of course, with this huge contract that he's got at the City ground. But they've done a lot of business of Forest. I think they'll be hoping for a successful first season back in the league. Back in the league after a very long time, as Wolves now just under a bit of pressure as they move the ball around in their own half. And then Gibbs White, that's a very optimistic pass, I think, to put it diplomatically, to Johnny Castro. He was never going to get there, put too much on it. And then Struik and Meslier nearly making a mess of playing out from the back. Llorente goes to Koch, and eventually Meslier doesn't mess about. He just hammers this one up towards the halfway line, where Max Kilman easily wins the header there against Bamford. Ruben Neves now with a flick ball out towards the left-hand side, and Rayan Ait-Nouri looking up for options, just plays it short to Pedro Neto, back-heeled towards Ait-Nouri, and now it's with Ruben Neves, plays it into the edge of the area, drop of the shoulder there from Gibbs White, just loses his balance, but he still gets that ball in towards Johnny Castro. Played back now towards the halfway line. Again, space here down the right-hand side. Pedro Neto has moved over towards the right-hand side this time. He then switches play over towards the left, and he picks out Podence with a really good ball. Podence there under pressure from Christensen to Ait-Nouri. Back to Podence now. He's into the penalty area. Ait-Nouri goes on the overlap. He tries to jink his way towards the 6-yard box. He plays the ball across the 6-yard box. Just flicks off the toe end of Robin Koch, and then it reaches Bamford heading towards the halfway line. But again, he's dispossessed. Leeds just cannot make it stick right now as Neves finds Pedro Neto, right-hand edge of the penalty area on his left foot. He goes back to his captain, Ruben Neves, then trying a cute ball in towards Ait-Nouri. That's easily dealt with by Christensen initially, and then Struik with another header. But again, Wolves win it back. They're just recycling the ball time and time again. Here are the visitors. Pedro Neto now square towards Neves. Has to get the ball away from Tyler Adams. And now it's Collins up towards Gibbs White. Has got an option here. Johnny Castro now can't find the ball into the box himself. Uses Ruben Neves. Now Johnny Castro goes on the overlap, and again he runs straight into a Leeds defender. The home side trying to clear their lines. Once again, Wolves win it back, but this time there was a foul at the edge of the area on Jack Harrison. So says referee Rob Jones. and it will be a free kick. I mean, I suppose on the one hand you could say it's a worry for Leeds they couldn't clear their lines, but then from Wolves' point of view, all that possession and not really an effort on goal to show for it.
Yeah, nothing really came from it. The most dangerous bit was when Ait-Nouri had the ball just around the 6-yard box. He did so well to keep it in play and managed to get a pass across the box, but there's no one there waiting, and I think that is a perfect example of where not having Jimenez changes this Wolves side. If you've got Jimenez in that starting 11, he's there. He's always looking to get on the end of balls in the box, as we're seeing. Leeds United and Jesse Marsch obviously not very happy with how much under the cosh they've been here, and they're making a substitution as a result.
They're bulking out that midfield. Rodrigo, the goal scorer, goes off, and he certainly wasn't happy, throwing his shin guard and that bottle of water they just gave him down in disgust. But he's replaced by Polish international Mateusz Klich. So interesting change. I mean, Klich can certainly play as an attacking midfielder. Doesn't quite have the pace and perhaps the attack mind of Rodrigo, but it's to get a bit more muscle into that midfield as well.
Yeah, I think the main thing will be ball control. I think Klich's probably a player who can keep hold of the ball better than Rodrigo. Rodrigo likes to sort of get it, turn, and try and move forward every time, and sometimes that's not what you need when you're on the back foot in a game. You just need to control it in the midfield and allow the other players to do that, and he's on the ball now.
Well, he is on the ball now, and he almost threads one through to Bamford. There's a second opportunity there as the ball broke through towards Aronson, but it's cleared up towards the halfway line, and it's end-to-end now as Wolves go on the attack. It's with Pedro Neto, right-hand edge of the penalty area. He then finds Hwan Hee-chan, who runs straight into a combination of Koch and Adams, but then Adams loses the ball far too easily. Here is Chan again, Koch having to do the work, and it deflects out for a Wolves throw down the left-hand side. Just to tell you as well, that fourth goal for Spurs was scored by Dejan Kulusevski. Made a good impression, I think, in his arrival in the Premier League halfway through last season. I'm expecting a good season from him this year.
Oh, certainly. He looked, to me, like the best signing in January. I know there was a lot of people saying Luis Diaz, but I think Kulusevski went under the radar. He's been fantastic for Tottenham, and I think, yeah, he's going to have a special season.
Yeah, with my Brentford hat on, I'd suggest Eriksen maybe as well as the January signing, but in the meantime, it's Wolves in possession, and they get the ball into the box. There's a free kick given there. There was a strike coming towards goal, but I think the free kick had been given against Ait-Nouri already, as he won the ball back here, broke into the box, but then that's good play from Aronson. He got ahead of Ait-Nouri. There's not much contact, but there's enough for the referee to give a free kick there.
Yeah, Ait-Nouri doesn't touch the ball, and I think there's a bit of contact, and so Aronson takes a risk and goes down inside his own area to try and win the free kick. But yeah, I know he doesn't touch the ball, so you can see why it's given. I apologise for not thinking about Christian
No,
Eriksen.
it's okay. As I say, he certainly did have a big impact at Brentford. I'll be fascinated to see how he gets on at Manchester United this season, how much game time he actually gets, and how he fits into the plans of Erik ten Hag, because the pressure will certainly be there on Ten Hag. There always is on any new Manchester United manager, but it certainly the sort of the build up to his start, it seems like they've sort of given him everything he can to try and have the best possible team and try and build a new era. They've tried it a few times, of course, since Sir Alex Ferguson departed in 2013. It's been very difficult to try and replicate that success or even get close to it. But here come Leeds now. Bamford goes down inside the 6-yard box. Referee immediately waves it away, saying there's no foul. And here come Wolves now at the edge of the area. Ait-Nouri gets the ball back. He breaks into the box. Christensen with a challenge, and I think he's won the ball cleanly there. Again, a bit of a wry smile there from the Leeds man, but Ait-Nouri looked very close to getting a shot away there. We'll see the replay. He wins the ball cleanly.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tackle from the new signing. The right back just comes across. Ait-Nouri has been a thorn in the side of Leeds in this second half. He's been coming forward, he's been pushing into the box, he's been causing all sorts of problems, and as he gets through there, it's almost certain he's going to get a shot away, and Rasmus Christensen just slides across, gets all ball, and manages to get that ball away in a vital last-ditch tackle.
It's important that he did that, as Ruben Neves now trying an early ball to pick out Hwan Hee-chan. Doesn't get through to him though. Leeds now win it back with Struijk going square towards Rocker, and then he played the ball forward for Aronson, who was brought down. A free kick has been given, which Leeds have taken quickly. Here's Mark Rocker again, finding Aronson. Seems to have moved over onto this left-hand side. Does that mean that Harrison is now on the right? Potentially so, but it's played back to Diego Llorente, who sprays the ball out towards the right-hand side. Not the best ball for Christensen, but he does keep it in play. And he plays one now, looking for the run at the edge of the area, and it's a good run as well here from Klich. Gets towards the edge of the box, leaves it now for Christensen. He plays it back towards Tyler Adams as Klich goes on the overlap, fires one across the 6-yard box, just a little bit too quick there for Bamford. Struijk sliding in to try and keep that in play, and in fairness to him, I think he's done really well, because not only has he stopped the ball from going out, he's actually flicked it off a Wolves man and won his side a corner, and that's a good moment to hand over to Josh as well, as we're coming up to 69 minutes gone in this game. It's Leeds 1, Wolves 1, and it'll be Josh to take us through to full time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really impressive the way he's kept that in, Struijk. It's another one where it's actually bounced off the corner flag. I'm not sure I've seen that happen twice in one game before, but that's how they've managed to win a corner there. Leeds finally putting themselves back into the game in this second half, and they'll feel they've got an opportunity here from this corner. It's a near side, left side corner for Jack Harrison to whip in. It's an out swinger. He doesn't quite manage to get the cross he wants, and it means that Robin Koch, or actually Pascal Struijk, doesn't manage to get the connection that he wants on it, and it goes straight out for a goal kick to Wolves. So plenty of Leeds players forward trying to put Wolves under pressure as they take this goal kick. There's about 3 or 4 of them surrounding that back 4 of Wolves, trying to win the ball back high up the pitch, and they're causing problems. But I've got to say, at times, that partnership of Nathan Collins and Max Kilman looks awfully impressive and calm on the ball. It's more so the fullbacks that have struggled with that Leeds pressure, as Wolves come forward again as the ball tries to sneak through towards Pedro Neto, but the young French goalkeeper Elian Meslier is alert to the situation and comes out to collect.
It's a shame for Wolves there, because the ball was a little bit too quick for Johnny Castro. Pedro Neto was a second option, but again, it was just getting a little bit too far away from him, as Wolves just lost a little bit of that impetus they had in the early stages of this second half. But Leeds still can't really make it stick in front of the Wolves box, though.
No, not at the moment, but still plenty of time left for either of these two sides to grab a winner. 20 minutes remaining on the clock. Obviously, I'm sure we'll have a little bit of added time, as we always do, as Leeds come down the left-hand side. Jack Harrison trying to cross it in. It's blocked in the end by Nathan Collins, so another corner for Leeds on the left-hand side, most likely going to be Jack Harrison taking it again.
Small, gentle steps here for Leeds. They can't quite get that possession in the Wolves half that they'd like, but they're being a bit more direct. They've won themselves a couple of set pieces now. And they certainly have players to aim for inside the box here, with people like Koch and Llorente getting into the box now. Yeah,
both the centre-backs coming up to try and get on the end of it. Obviously, Struijk, Llorente and Koch all got a lot of height. Patrick Bamford too. Referee just having to come over and have a word with the players. There's been a little bit of pushing, a little bit of shoving. Nothing too serious, just the usual kick.
Telling them off before the referee walks away, and they'll do exactly the same that they were doing before the
Welcome
referee
to the
stopped
Premier
them.
League.
Absolutely. But referee just has to let them know that he's aware. Good chances now for Leeds, and as you said, plenty of activity inside that box.
Yeah, everyone moving around. A bit of a love train going on for Leeds United. The ball out swinging from Jack Harrison. It's Struijk who lifts his head up to try and get on it, but it's off the top of his head. He couldn't quite get enough on it, and Wolves will try and play out from the back. It's a ball played out, but it'll be a free kick straight away to Wolves, as a tug of the shirt on the back of Pedro Neto came, and it was one of the most obvious shirt tugs I've ever seen.
Yes, this isn't so much as a shirt pull as I'm not even sure. He's just not even trying to disguise it there as Tyler Adams. I think he was just quite happy to stop the man going there, as Leeds are getting ready to make their second change. Just to remind you that since the start of this season, it is 5 changes that every team can make in a game now. So it does give the managers more options, and it looks like it's going to be young Sam Greenwood to come on. Yeah,
it does. Former Arsenal Academy player Sam Greenwood, and it's going to be for new signing Mark Rocker. So interesting one. You'd probably imagine now that Cleek would drop into that central midfield position, and Greenwood would play behind Patrick Bamford.
That would make more sense, absolutely. I think that Greenwood potentially isn't is certainly holding midfielder. Central midfielder isn't his first position. He could play there if he's asked to, but I think he would prefer to have that sort of loosely termed number 10 role, where he can just range a little bit further forward. Saying that though, Cleek's still at quite high up the field there, as Wolves have this throw. But with 18 minutes to go in this game, it really any scoreline is still possible. We could have a game that just peters out and finishes as it is 1-1, or either side could still go on to win it.
Yeah, you certainly would think so, and you'd think that sort of substitution from Leeds United in the shape of Greenwood would be one that's in the way of trying to play attacking football. Greenwood, one of 3 young players seen as the future of Leeds United, offered new long-term contracts that were signed just the other week. It was Greenwood, Gelhardt and Somerville. As Leeds come forward now, Patrick Bamford just inside the box with his left foot, plays the ball across and it's in! Is it an own goal? I think it's come off Ait-Nouri. It could be Brendan Aronson, but it doesn't matter. The ball's in the back of the net. Patrick Bamford fires the ball across the 6-yard box and it goes in. 2-1.
Leeds 2-1 up on 73 minutes. It happened very quickly. Wolves would be absolutely furious as to how this goal has been scored, but you've got to credit Leeds, because they weathered the storm at the start of this second half. and it looks like it is a Premier League debut goal there for Brendan Aronson. He'll be absolutely delighted with that, as will the Elland Road crowd. It was a ball on the halfway line, played down the left-hand side, and it's Greenwood's ball in. He finds Click. The ball played in. Ooh, I don't think there's going to be an offside there against Bamford. VAR may just want to check to see if potentially a toe end or a foot is straight offside, but it doesn't look to me as though that's the case. Bamford looks up, plays a good ball, and it's into that danger area, and Aronson gets there first. Yeah,
Brendan Aronson just hovering at that back post. It's hard to tell exactly what's happened because Ait-Nouri's sliding in at the exact same time to try and stop it. The way Aronson's celebrating, you'd imagine he thinks he's certainly got the last touch on that. But Leeds United put themselves back in the game. They put pressure back on Wolves, and after 5 to 10 minutes of a little bit more of stepping into the game, Wolves haven't been able to cope with it, and it's now 2-1.
No, I think over the 75 minutes that we've seen now, Leeds are value for this lead. I don't think we could say that they've surprised Wolves by taking a lead when they have. I think if they'd have scored maybe 10-15 minutes ago, it would have been against the run of play.
Yeah.
But actually, it's been a while since Wolves have put any real pressure on Leeds now.
Certainly has been. It did look like it was going to be Wolves' half as the second half started, and they came out the more energetic of the two sides, but it's become a more balanced game, and Leeds, as you say, certainly good value for this Leeds. So 75 minutes played, Leeds 2-1 up at Elland Road, and Wolves a side that many will be questioning this season. They've had some really impressive seasons in recent years. I think last season was one where you couldn't really tell whether it was a good season or a bad season for Wolves. There was so much sort of here and there, whether they were winning games they shouldn't be or losing games they should be, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens this season. They've not strengthened an awful amount as they just try and pass the ball around the back and calm things down, but they're going to have to come at Leeds in this remaining 15 minutes to try and get something from this game.
They've got to try and do something, absolutely. We're going to have to see Wolves being a little bit more expansive, and they're trying something now with Ait-Nouri down the left-hand side.
Yeah, Ait-Nouri plays the ball to Pedro Neto. Neto then cutting in and ends up hitting it on his weaker right foot. It's blocked straight away. Leeds trying to come out, but Cleek can't get it under control, and Wolves have it back under their control in the feet of Nathan Collins on the halfway line, and they'll just build again. Every single Leeds player behind the ball now, as the line is broken now though by Wolves on the left-hand side. It's Neto, plays it back to Ait-Nouri. He's been the shining star for Wolves in this second half, breaking lines, getting through, weaving in and out of players, and really probably should have had more than one shot away, but not managed it as of yet, as Morgan Gibbs-White just tries to power his way through the midfield and tried to play a pass through to Chan, but it's played off the back of the heels of Chan. In the end, Wolves do win the ball back. It's Dendoncker from distance. He shoots, and it's just over the bar and maybe ever so slightly wide. It was a speculative effort from Leandro Dendoncker, but it's what they've been limited to in the last sort of 10 minutes.
They have, and they need to do something there, Wolves, just to try and get back on some sort of attack footing. And it all started with a bouncing ball here, where I think we're being shown the replay. We are being shown a replay of the Leeds goal again. But the effort there from Dendoncker just seemed to be swerving a little bit away from goal. As we see again the good work that Bamford did in putting that ball across. I think frustration there for Bruno Lage was that it is an own goal, by the way. We can confirm that 100% now. It's not Aronson's goal at all. It is Ait-Nouri's. And it was pretty much on the toe end of Max Kilman as well. There were chances for Wolves to deal with that ball.
There certainly were. I think Ait-Nouri's going to struggle to do much other than put that in the back of his own net, and if he does leave it, then it's coming off Aronson and it's going in. So good positioning from Aronson to get himself in that sort of area to cause those problems, and Leeds fans will be happy that one of their summer signings, maybe not quite off the mark, but is showing his intent to get in the box and get on the end of opportunities. As they come forward again down the right-hand side, Cleek with an opportunity to try and play it in, but Ait-Nouri does well to knock it out, and it will be a corner on the right-hand side for Leeds United. So 78 minutes gone, and it's still 2-1 to Leeds United. Cleek's made a difference since he's come on. He's looked impressive. I think there was certainly parts of that Leeds team that looked a bit disjointed at the start of the second half.
Absolutely. I mean, Click's somebody who there's still question marks over his future at Elland Road. Will he potentially leave in this window? He's been such an important part of Leeds winning promotion and establishing in the Premier League, but just tailed off a little bit towards the end of last season. It's a corner kick now to Leeds, and it's going to be an outswinger, looks like, from Greenwood. Yeah,
Greenwood plays the ball in. It's actually a very nice cross aiming towards the back post where Llorente was waiting, but a header from Ruben Neves. He used the back of his head to just knock it out for a Leeds throw-in on the left side, the near side, as we're looking at it. Jack Harrison's come over to take it, but just taking their time now, Leeds. They know that they're a goal ahead, and I think it's causing a little bit of frustration among the Wolves players.
Yes, we can see the Wolves players are a little bit frustrated. Forest fans and players will be frustrated. They're now 2 down away at St James's. Callum Wilson opening his account on the opening day of the season, and Bournemouth have just made it 2-0 at home to Aston Villa. So looking like a good afternoon for newly promoted Bournemouth. Waiting for a confirmation of the second goal scorer there, but it is Bournemouth 2, Villa 0, Leeds 2, Wolves 1, Newcastle 2, Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 4, Southampton 1, and in the earlier game it was Fulham 2, Liverpool 2.
A couple surprising results in today's games already. Well, I say results, they're not quite finished yet, but certainly was a surprising result earlier between Fulham and Liverpool as Leeds come down the left-hand side with Jack Harrison. He whips the ball in towards Bamford. Bamford gets his head on it, and it's a superb save from Jose Sarr at point-blank range. Bamford just manages to get his head on it, and diving down to his left-hand side, Jose Sarr tips it away, but Leeds will come again on the right-hand side. It's Greenwood. Greenwood plays the ball back towards... Sorry, it was Click. He plays the ball back to Greenwood. Greenwood can't quite get a proper shot away, and it will go out for a Leeds United corner. But what a save by Jose Sarr.
Fabulous, it really is. Those are the saves where goalkeepers really earn their money. It's getting away from him, it's right into the corner, and he's got to get the hand up quickly there. We'll see. I mean, it's a great ball in from Harrison. Bamford, I mean, if you're going to be ultra critical, it's not right in the postage stamp, is it? But he's reacted very quickly to a quick cross, and as to say, take nothing away from Jose Sarr. It was an excellent one-handed save. Yeah,
showing why he was many people's goalkeeper of the year last season, and he's pretty much kept Wolves in this game with that save. It allows the deficit to not be too much. There's still 10 minutes for Wolves to try and get back into this game, maybe get a point, or who knows, this is the Premier League. They certainly could still get through with that amount of time left on the clock, and they're coming forward on the left-hand side. Once again, it's Ait-Nouri. He plays the ball in towards the middle where Podence picks it up, played back towards Nathan Collins. He spreads it wide right, and Neto just about manages to keep control of a pass played into him, and a lovely looping ball out wide left where it's kept in from Neto. He tries to then chip the ball into the box. It's headed away, but only as far as Ruben Neves, and then on that left-hand side once more it come into Podence. Podence just about finds Chan. Then Johnny Otto, he's playing the ball back to Podence, and he's harried under pressure from Bamford, goes down claiming that he was fouled. Nothing doing, says the referee, and then a long ball forwards, and it's Patrick Bamford on the left-hand side. It's 2-on-1 for Leeds United. He's got options to his right. He then manages to... Oh, it's absolutely terrible. It looked like he was going to pass it straight across, and in the end he passed it to no one. 4 Wolves players got back, and a waste of a golden opportunity for Leeds United.
It is a waste, and Wolves, in fairness, have just wasted a decent counter-attacking opportunity there. The ball to Pedro Neto was overhit, and Llorente got there easily, but that was such a waste from Bamford. He had time, he could have looked up and seen where his teammates were, and it's almost like he was just playing on instinct. He put a ball where he thought a teammate might be, and here come Wolves now trying to make Leeds pay for it straight away. A ball played in, Chan's getting on the end of it, but a good recovering challenge there from Diego Llorente, who's been certainly more involved in the second half, and it goes out for a Wolves corner.
Yeah, Chan causing problems running in behind, and Llorente just gets his toe to the ball and knocks it out.
He was caught by Chan there accidentally, but he was caught a little bit by Chan Llorente as he put that challenge in, and he's just taking a little bit longer to get up now.
Yeah, he looks in a little bit of discomfort, but happy to play on. He stands up and gets ready to take his position for this corner kick. It's right-sided corner. It's going to be taken with the left foot of, so I believe it will be Ait-Nouri who will take it, and it'll be an in-swinging corner. It does come in at the back post. It's then headed on, and it just goes over the bar, and Ilian Meslier didn't have too much to do. Max Kilman was the one rising up to try and get his head on it, and he just didn't quite get the connection he wanted.
He didn't. He'll be disappointed in Max Kilman, because I think he manages to just jostle Greenwood out the way, and then nobody, once he loses Greenwood, nobody's really marking him at all. But he's just not headed, he's not timed it quite right. I think he's already on the way down when he heads that, and it just means that it's not quite got the accuracy that he would have wanted. But certainly that's a decent half chance there for Wolves.
Yeah, definitely a decent half chance as we look for another 2 changes for Leeds United. So this is a perfect example of the 5 substitution rules. Leeds will be making their 3rd and 4th substitute, and it's the other 2 players I was talking about that signed contract signed new long-term contracts for Leeds this season who will be coming on. It's going to be Somerville and Gelhardt. We wait to see who's going to be going off, but we do know that one of them will be Patrick Bamford as he passes the captain's armband to Robin Koch, and it looks like it's going to be Brendan Aronson who's also going off. So Somerville just given the number 10 for Leeds United. Looks to be an exciting player for them, and obviously we saw what Gelhardt could do at the back end of last season, so you'd imagine Somerville's probably going to play on that right hand side, and Gelhardt will go into that centre forward position.
Absolutely, he's a real crowd favourite, is Joe Gelhardt. Of course, he's a former youth player, and he had a real impact for Leeds, scoring some big goals last season, as you mentioned, and having that vital assist in that game against Brighton as well. So Bamford and Aronson off, and Somerville and Gelhardt in their place.
Be a goal kick to restart things from Ilian Meslier. Plays it up long. They'll have lost that height up that way now, though, without Patrick Bamford. As talented of a centre forward that Joe Gelhardt is, he's not a particularly big physical presence. Tends to be a player who likes to play with his back and sort of control the ball. Close control tends to be his game when he is going forward, but it's not mattered too much as Leeds try and win the ball back on the right hand side with Ait-Nouri, but done so illegally, and it will be a free kick to Wolves. It's taken quickly, but taken too quickly, says the linesman, because it was taken from the wrong position, and because there is going to be another change. This change for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it is Hwang Hee-chan who is going off for Wolves, and he is going to be replaced by, I'm just waiting for confirmation of it, by Campbell.
That's it, yeah. Campbell, young 19-year-old Welsh midfielder. He's a product of the Wolves youth system, and he is on the field now. So we'll wait to see exactly what sort of impact he's going to have. Not seen. I don't think he's ever had an appearance. He's had a couple of appearances for Wolves. He had one appearance last season, a 12-minute substitute appearance, but here come Leeds now trying to get forward. Harrison brought down, and that's going to be a free kick. Yeah,
Leeds just powering through the midfield. It was Jack Harrison with that close control and the pace that can cause defences problems. He's then taken down by Nathan Collins. It's in a pretty dangerous position. As you say, it's a free kick that really could cause problems for Wolves. They probably could try and just chip this over and look for a header if they wanted to, Leeds, but you could also shoot from this range. Two players stepping up to take it. Jack Harrison and Greenwood, I believe, are both stepping up for it. Greenwood obviously would be the right-footed option if they do want to shoot, and it would be Jack Harrison if you were looking to try and whip this ball in towards the back post. There's plenty of height at that back post for Leeds. Looks like Struijk and Koch and Llorente are all up there. Gelhardt waiting on the edge of the box, and Somerville not too far away from the ball. It looks like it's going to be Jack Harrison to take it. No, it's Greenwood. He shoots from distance. It's quite a poor free kick. He's looking to whip it into the top corner, but it's high and not very handsome.
No, disappointing in the end there from Sam Greenwood. As you can see, shots of the Leeds crowd. They'll certainly be a lot happier now than they were after about 10 minutes in this game, where it looked as though Wolves were starting to get a bit of a stranglehold, and then of course taking that early lead as well. But it has been a good response from Leeds, and that's something that they had in more than one of the last final games that Jesse March was in charge for last season, was that ability to get goals late on and to turn deficits around. And if that's a trait that they're carrying on into this season, that's no bad thing at all.
Yeah, as Llorente gives a lazy foul away, and it's a free kick taken relatively quickly by Johnny. It goes back to Nathan Collins, and he and Kilman will just pass the ball between themselves. No real urgency at the moment from Wolves. With only 3 minutes to play, there's a lot for them to do, and they'll have to do something because they're going to want some sort of points for the opening day of the season. They know how important it is to get a result on the opening day, and another free kick, and it's taken quickly once more from Wolves, and they just can't seem to get past the halfway line at the moment. There's a solid line of white shirts stopping them from progressing into the Leeds United half, but it will come to Kilman, who gives the ball to Ait-Nouri, but he's just passed it out of play. It looked like Ait-Nouri was standing on the other side of the line as the ball came to him. It was sort of lazy and not really aware of his surroundings.
No, he just seemed to sort of be paying too much attention to exactly where the ball is and not where he was stood. And he has been a bit disjointed from Wolves at times in this game, and that's something that Bruno Lage is going to want to address, is the fact that his side just haven't had that they didn't have the confidence really when they were one up, and they've allowed Leeds more and more time on the ball as the game's worn on.
They certainly have, and the ball goes all the way back to Jose Sarr as they're put under even more pressure from the press of Leeds United's front line, but they managed to break it as Sarr hits the ball over the top, but it's one straight back with Somerville on the right hand side. He's such an exciting fast player, and he's managing to just keep hold of that ball. Finds Greenwood in the centre. Greenwood then fake shot and then tries to cross the ball in at the back post, and it's really poor cross, just like his poor free kick. He's just not quite had the finishing touch.
I just wonder if that was a very miscued shot. I think he was maybe trying to sort of force it into the top corner, really drive it with putting the laces through it, but whether it was a shot that didn't come off or a cross that was overhit, in any case it was not particularly well played there from Greenwood. But again, Leeds leaving plenty of players up, so no easy task here for Wolves to play out from the back.
Certainly not. They're not sitting back and allowing Wolves to just lump balls into the box to try and get something back, and they've won the ball high up the pitch as a result, as Harrison was just trying to find Somerville, who was making a run in behind, but a mistimed pass means it's won back by Wolves. They only clear it as far as another Leeds United player, and Leeds will come again in the centre, and it's Geldhart. He plays the ball to Klick. Klick plays it out towards Somerville with a lovely little chipped ball. Ait-Nouri can't do much in the way of stopping Somerville. In the end, he just sort of has to jockey him and push him towards the byline. Somerville can't get a cross out, and it will be a goal kick. There's only a matter of about 30 seconds remaining of regulation time in this game, and you've got to say Leeds are good value for this.
Yes, they are. I think that they've done well to withstand a good start from Wolves, and then taken advantage and used the fact that Wolves haven't been too confident in midfield today, and allowed themselves to really grow into the game. The first 15-20 minutes of the second half, you could have worried for Leeds, because they just seemed to be sitting deeper and deeper, but Wolves didn't create too many chances in that positive spell, and Leeds have come back and taken a lead. We're just waiting to see how much injury time there's going to be.
Yeah, we'll find that out in a matter of seconds, as Johnny just has the ball inside the Leeds half. It's the first time they've come up quite far into the Leeds half. Wolves, as a ball just sneaks through after a couple of deflections. A pass from Podence almost got through to Neto in the box, but Meslier came out well to collect it. Still no confirmation of how much added time there will be. Don't know whether that means there will be none. We haven't had anything yet. It's going to be 4 minutes of added time in this second half, so just about 3.5 minutes left of those 4 minutes for Wolves to grab an equaliser if they can, as there's a bit of a wrestle match going on between Klick and Kilman. In the end, the referee decides that it was Klick who was doing the worst of it, and a quick free kick taken from Wolves. But they're trying to build from the back to get forward, and like we say, Leeds just not sitting back, not allowing them to play those long balls in and have that option. It's something that so many teams do allow when they're shaky, trying to keep hold of it, but Leeds playing well at the moment. But left hand side now with Ait-Nouri for Wolves, and he gives the ball to Gibbs-White. It then comes forward to, well, looking for Campbell, but it was cleared out well by Llorente. He covered the position and managed just to knock it out for a throw-in. It will be a throw-in in a fairly dangerous area, though, for Wolves, and it's Ait-Nouri to take it. He's looking for options. Plenty of white shirts in the way, trying to stop him from finding any, and in the end, the white shirts do their job, as Rasmus Christensen just manages to clear the ball away. And so much pressure from that front line of Leeds. Every time it goes back to Wolves, to just stop them from being able to do what they want to and lump that ball forward and get any opportunities. They do try playing the ball long forward towards Ait-Nouri, but it's too high, and it's out for a Leeds United throw in about halfway into their own half.
Yeah, 2 minutes of injury time still to play here. The first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs is now finished in the Premier League, and that's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs have beaten Southampton by 4-1. No change in the other two scores, with both the home teams winning 2-0. Bournemouth 2 up against Villa. That's into the now 5th minute of injury time. And in the 3rd minute of injury time between Newcastle and Forest, it's still 2-0 to Newcastle. But now Leeds just taking a little bit longer to restart play here, as they're trying to wind the clock down.
Yeah, and that Tottenham result will probably see them sitting on top of the Premier League table after the start of the season so far. Obviously still plenty of games left to play in this match week, as Wolves come forward here, and it's Podence. He's had the ball nicked away from his feet from Greenwood, and Leeds doing well to keep hold of the ball. And as I say that, Rasmus Christensen just gives it away so cheaply. And now on the right hand side with Johnny Otto, he's got pressure behind him from Tyler Adams, who does just about enough to win the ball back for Leeds, and then Harrison gets hold of it, but the referee says there was a shove, maybe a shoulder in the face, and it's a yellow card for Tyler Adams there.
It is a yellow card for Tyler Adams, and it's a minute to go in terms of injury time, so this potentially will be the last chance for Wolves in this game to try and get it into the box. We'll just see here as Klick there's just a little bit too much elbow up there, I think, there from Adam Sir for the referee's liking.
Yeah, there is, and seriously dangerous position, and Leeds will definitely rue giving away that free kick if this does lead to anything. It's Gibbs White who's on the right-hand side, about 35 yards, probably about 35, 40 yards out actually. Going to try and play an in-swinging cross towards all of, well, not all of, they haven't set up too many players, but all of the tall Wolves defenders that have made their way up. Gibbs White still looking composed. Only a one-man wall for Leeds. Will they be able to deal with this, or will Wolves pick back a point? And it goes over towards the back post. It's headed down and it's cleared away by Geldhart, and just about as far as their own 18-yard box. It's then headed down by Click. Rasmus Christensen then powers the ball up down the wing, and actually it's gone straight out, and Jesse Marsh looks frustrated at the way that was dealt with, but there is only a couple seconds left on the clock, and this game should be about to end surely before there's any more opportunities for Wolves. Keeping a keen eye on the referee here, because the ball is inside Wolves' own half and we are past the 4 minutes of added time. It's played long by Nathan Collins. It's fallen down to Gibbs White. Gibbs White to Podence, a little 1-2. It's then played on the left-hand side to Den Donker. Then Donker then plays a cross in towards the middle, where there's Kilman there to greet it, and in the end it's Geldhart who wins the ball back on the edge of their own box, and that will be it. The referee blows his whistle. Leeds United 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1.